Los Angeles, so many stars and bright lights. People from every walk of life, every neighborhood making a difference.
This is LA Stories.
He's the man with the trademark bow tie.
I'm obsessed with bow ties.
Your
and so
bow
here's
ties.
all my different bow ties. Eric made this one.
Wow. And he's the man with the mohawk.
I got it. It was a fire dancing accident on stage in front of 1,000 people. But I liked it, so I kept it.
They're the high-tech mad inventors behind Two Bit Circus.
It was more like the yang
and the yang.
Revolutionizing play, education, and community in LA. Engineer turned inventor and carnival maker Brent Bushnell arrives to his newly opened Two Bit Circus every day with his wheels spinning.
I would say I really am driven by play, you know? I mean, play is a very powerful thing.
Always donning a trademark bow tie and passion for fun and games. This is the mindset of the mastermind as he enters the big top, as he calls it.
You know, escape rooms, virtual reality, immersive theater, all this kind of new styles, new ways to play are blowing up. And we felt like there needed to be a place to house all that stuff.
Bushnell is the son of legendary Atari founder Nolan Bushnell, the father who also brought us Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, it was a terrible childhood, you know, yeah.
His partner, engineer and roboticist Eric Gradman, donning his trademark mohawk, is a former circus clown, professional whistler, acrobat, and expert flamethrower. He literally left the traveling circus to join Bushnell in creating a big top of sorts all their own.
We build stuff to entertain people every single day. So pretty much every interest I have is satisfied.
They first started out entertaining friends. Then corporations came calling, wanting games and experiences that would dazzle their clients and customers.
We realized it was time to go permanent.
Especially after their Rube machine on This OK Go music video went viral. Their track record convinced investors they are the team to bet on. And now they're going global.
The exciting part is, you know, we've got interest from all over the world now, and so everybody's really excited.
Teachers and students are excited too. Across SoCal, the Two Bit Foundation is in schools, cultivating the next generation of inventors and environmental stewards.
All of this is plastic, we recycled it.
The Two Bit Circus and the masterful minds behind SoCal's most radical way to play and learn are today's LA story.
We are here at the Two Bit Circus in the Midway with the men who are called the Mad Geniuses, but the self-described band of nerds. Is that what you call yourself?
We like to think of ourselves as a band of nerds, yeah.
Or the innovative geniuses.
So my official title here is Mad Inventor.
Well, you guys have put together what you call the micro-amusement park, but it is so much more than a Chuck E. Cheese, so much more than a Dave & Buster's, and so much more than just an arcade or even just a virtual reality, escape room.
We made up the term micro-amusement park because we really felt like there wasn't a category for what we wanted to build. And there's a really interesting thing happening right now. Escape rooms, virtual reality, immersive theater, new styles, new ways to play are blowing up. And we felt like there needed to be a place to house all that stuff.
And there's lots of people out there that are trying to entertain with new types of technology. This place is dedicated to bringing people together in new and crazy ways. When you show up to this place, you can't play alone. You're either playing with friends you brought, new friends you make, or friends you assemble from the parts we have in back.
People are looking to immerse themselves and connect in ways they can't anymore because they're so isolated. Was all of that your motivation?
I think we're really well timed to capitalize on the pendulum swinging the other way. For many, many years now, people have been getting more and more engaged in their phones, in a tiny little screen in their hands. They don't look up, they don't look at others, they don't talk to others. That pendulum is now swinging. People want to go out, they want to meet people, they want to experience what life is when they're not plugged into a social network. and this is where they can do that.
So you say you want elbow-to-elbow play.
Yeah. Almost every experience in here is multiplayer, right? 2, 3, 4, 100 people at once, and that was very much by design. You know, either you're creating new memories with old friends or making new friends.
And it's a mix of competitive and non-competitive. Many of these games, when we say elbow to elbow, that implies that we are facing the same way. We're playing the same game, we're winning or losing together. And that kind of experience creates what I call micro-friendships, right? All of a sudden, we're thrust into this encounter where we're playing a game together, and that brief connection might last for the duration of the game, or maybe we'll go to the bar together, or maybe it'll be a friendship that lasts a lifetime. But getting people connected is really important, and this place helps.
Especially when the robot bartender named Guillermo del Toro flirts while making cocktails.
All right, so let's go just through some of the offerings that you have here. Your escape rooms aren't your typical escape rooms. I went through a couple of them. You have the Mayan pyramids. You have almost like, you know, Command Central for NASA. Tell me how your story spaces are different than just escape rooms.
So we call them story rooms. We think of them as a superset of escape rooms, right? What happens if the story is not about escaping the room? And so we have one that's Space Squad in space. And you know, you're on the bridge of a starship, multiple people. The captain, the pilot, the gunner, the navigator all have to work together. And there's a few fundamental powerful things that happen there, right? It's a different game whether you're the pilot or the captain. And then also it's episodic. So, you know, they got 10 seasons of content from the bridge of the Enterprise. You can fly our spaceship and do all sorts of different stuff.
LA is ground zero for that kind of creativity. We've got a tech community, we've got a theater community, we've got a movie making community, we've got the best immersive theater community in the world. And all of those different communities come together and build for this place.
It's interesting, not everyone knows LA like that. They think of it as only a, you know, movie town. Yeah. But you really have kind of tapped into that marriage of technology and entertainment.
It is a really exciting time for Los Angeles right now. And something in the last 5 years has really started to change because, you know, the kinds of creators that have supported the movie industry now have over-the-top video games, augmented reality, all these other ways in which those skills can be applied. And so there's almost a renaissance going on.
When we come back, how Brent's father, Atari founder Nolan Bushnell, influenced his future of fun, and how life in the traveling circus readied Eric for a big top all his own. Next. We are back with Two Bit Circus founder Brent Bushnell and Eric Gradman, whose eclectic, nerdy childhoods prep them for a future of fun.
Well, let's go back. Let's kind of take a look back at both your histories. You have a very interesting family history. You come from the great Bushnell family who, you know, launched Atari and Chuck E. Cheese, so fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. What did you learn from your dad?
Well, it was a terrible childhood, you know, yeah. But, you know, my dad's a big kid, you know, and an engineer and an entrepreneur, and so he really raised us with one foot in either camp. And my brothers and I were always designing our own games and made our own collectible, tradable card game in the, you know, in the 90s, right at the sort of early days of Kinko's and Photoshop. We were missing school to make, you know, deadline deliveries for Topps baseball cards, and, you know, so really sort of early, you know, entrepreneurs, but loving games. And then Dad was always really clear with us. He's like, listen, I'm going to give you no money, but I'll take you to business meetings and I'll teach you everything I know, but you're going to do it on your own, right? And he was always really strict about that. You know,
he wanted to encourage your own creativity.
And he also had seen a lot of, you know, families where there had been a lot of inheritance or whatnot, and sort of ways in which that really drove a knife through a family, you know. And so he was self-made. He really wanted us to be self-made, and so he really pushed us hard. And, you know, the first company, you know, that I started was web hosting, web design. We were doing software as a service.
At what age?
You know, I was probably 20. We were doing like, you know, aftermarket insurance and inventory management. I mean, it was pouring. But the part that was so wonderful is, you know, on the back of that experience, start to sort of really get my own, you know, sea legs and confidence, at which point, when Eric and I met and started collaborating and we just started making interactive art and the art turned into games, I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing? I freaking love games. I know so much about it. Why have I been like shirking this?
Eric, tell me, you were a clown, you're a robotics guy, your imprint is on all the, you know, technology here. Where did you get the inspiration to do what you're doing now?
I did not grow up playing or making games to any great extent. I grew up a total nerd. I started building robots out of cardboard and nothing else when I was like 3 or 4. And eventually, I just kept pursuing robotics. Ultimately went to college and focused on robotics. And I've been just a nerd my entire life. Through a series of weird college accidents, I wound up on stage as a circus performer, touring around the country.
As a clown?
As a clown, as an acrobat, as an aerialist, as a sort of jack of all trades in the circus.
He's an incredible fire performer.
Really?
Literally the best I've ever seen.
Are you
Thank you.
serious?
Yeah.
This is Eric inside his invention named the Dunk Tank Flambe. That is triggered by a flamethrower. Eric also created his safety suit that deflects the 1,000-degree inferno. But it's far from his only talent.
You're a professional whistler? Whistle me a tune.
What do you want to hear?
This land is your land.
There you go.
Incredible, right? but so, you know, that
Now,
intersection.
continuing with the yeah. So musical interlude.
You're an incredible performer.
I've done, I have all sorts of weird stage tricks. And there was a point as I was graduating from college where I felt like I was going to have to make that choice, right? Am I going to go pursue a career in tech, program for the rest of my life, or am I going to just run away and join the circus? And it turns out it was a false choice. I didn't have to make it.
You did both.
I did both. And the last 10 years of my life have been devoted to essentially figuring out how I can combine my love for performing and being on stage and entertaining people with the fact that I have to build stuff. I'm not happy unless I'm making stuff. This place is a perfect opportunity to do both of those. We build stuff to entertain people every single day. So pretty much every interest I have is satisfied.
Okay, so how did a clown with a mohawk and a nerd building boxes and robots meet up with Mr. Bushnell?
So in 2008, you know, early time for downtown LA, the arts district was formalizing and really getting, you know, quite interesting. There was this like rave for nerds. It would pop up in different warehouses once a month, different speakers on different topics, a nanoscientist, a rocket scientist, a belly dancer.
Is a very tiny
really
scientist.
tiny scientist, yeah.
Can you show me one of those?
Itty bitty.
Put it in your pocket.
But there'd be different speakers on different topics, and then it would break for a cocktail party and interactive art. And Eric and I were on that list, and we were there that night and started talking, and literally that evening left to the happy hour, started building one of our first things, and we literally haven't stopped since.
When we come back for Brent and Eric using STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math to empower kids with innovation and imagination. That's next. LA Stories is back with the masterminds behind the Two Bit Circus and their powerful foundation that uses games and fun to teach and inspire kids everywhere.
Tell me about your foundations and all 3 components of them.
So we, you know, Eric and I are both STEM nerds, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. But we got really excited about the term STEAM, STEM plus art. And really the fact that those things were separated was kind of ridiculous, right? Because the engineering process, right, that problem solving process is fundamentally creative, right? Art is part of that, the creativity is part of that. And so we realized we had kind of a special opportunity to get kids excited about science and engineering.
An opportunity they grabbed and ran with by creating the Two Bit Circus Foundation. That goes way beyond science fairs and builds instead STEAM carnivals for kids like this one in Hawthorne.
Think of it as basically a complete alternative to the science fair. So ours is a carnival, way more exciting than a science fair, right? You can engage the community, get everybody to come, but the kids in the time leading up to it are building their own games. And games are special, right? Kids love games, so all of a sudden they're instantly into it, but they cover all of the different domains we're talking about: programming, electronics, fabrication, creativity, design thinking, art, all of those things are part of creating any of the games in here. And so you sort of start where kids love and then give them the tools to be able to learn all those fundamentals. So they build their own games and throw their own carnival. I mean, the speed with which this thing has grown is shocking. Faster, frankly, than the rest of the enterprise.
There's that much hunger for it in the communities.
You know, we have what is now K through 12. We are in half the schools of Los Angeles. We've done 3 carnivals in Dallas. We just did our first one in Perth, Australia.
So you're going global.
Yeah, we've already brought it to Seoul, South Korea. We've replicated the warehousing approach into Fresno in Northern California. So it's really going fast as hell.
That's not all. They're also about being green. Their Trash for Teaching program challenges kids to transform clean waste into clever creations.
We aggregate clean waste from companies. So there's extra packaging material from UPS. There's extra cardboard heart-shaped boxes from See's Candy. All that stuff gets donated.
Even NASA is a partner.
Tell me about the carts, and you're working with NASA.
So all of those materials that we get from companies are packaged up into carts that are then deployed to the schools. NASA has, brought all sorts of interesting, appliances and, space equipment to, the carnivals.
We met up with these students at Davis Middle School in Compton, learning while having fun with their school's 2 Bit Circus steam cart.
We call this a prototype.
This is supposed to represent the pipe. The water flows in here, go through the filter here, but the microbeads would catch in the drain.
So we have to cut this out like that. All of this is plastic. We recycled it. Both of these are 1/2 of a water bottle. We're making less trash, so it won't affect the earth.
Thanks to this project, I see stuff like on the street, and I think ways of we can use that.
That actually can be a roof or something.
My imagination is actually way bigger now.
It could totally be a Julia box, yeah.
What drives you most? The fun, the play, the technology, the innovation, the imagination, or giving back to the community as you have?
I would say those things are inextractable. They work together. We feel like there's a real opportunity right now to sort of use the fun and the play to inspire that next generation of inventors. And hopefully, the kids will go out and they'll learn how to build their own stuff and they'll make cool things that they can come and exhibit here. We feel like there's a whole ecosystem, opportunity.
When we come back, how Walt Disney, Richard Branson, and Elon Musk inspire the founders of the 2 Bit Circus to reimagine the dimensions of play. We are back with the founders of the 2 Bit Circus, who take us behind the scenes where the magic is made.
Who do you most identify with? Is there an inventor in history that you go, or is it your dad?
Oh man, I actually do love Walt Disney. I've been obsessed with that guy.
What about you, Eric? Who is your big mentor,
I gotta say,
muse?
Walt Disney. I mean, who can disagree with Walt Disney? There's so many parallels with, what we're trying to achieve, I think. And definitely an excellent role model.
And they're in good company with the most modern-day maverick minds of today.
I was looking at what you've done with the Hawthorne kids. You had the great Richard Branson, Galactica, actually so resonate with what you guys are doing that he delivered a message to the students.
So inspired by the team activities that you're all working on. Keep up the great work and embrace your creativity.
We showcased it right at the carnival. It was crazy, and he even had a little plug for Elon Musk because we were down in Hawthorne, and so it was a really kind of a funny, little ribbing. Those guys are incredible, businessmen and creators.
They got nothing on you guys. Nothing on the band of nerds.
But to make sure they're all that, I had to test it out for myself. From games to virtual reality to the story rooms to the flirty robot bartender. Off the charts, total immersive fun. But it was the tour upstairs, behind the scenes, where all the magic happens, that leaves you gobsmacked and wide-eyed.
So this is where all the magic's made. Tell me who's here.
So this is our workshop. So we've got all kinds of different, artists, creatives, fabricators. We're planning new attractions. There's Eric working on stuff. So this is where we're planning, our new sites, where we're building new attractions.
Wow, look at this room.
Oh yeah, this is.
If that doesn't inspire creativity, come on in, guys. Look at this. This is your den of
my little playground
of creativity.
Here.
Aww.
You can see a fair amount of.
You really are Dick Van Dyke and Chinny Chinny Bang Bang, aren't you? So you actually make your own blueprints.
Here's the blueprint of the park. We've got what it looks like now, but then I'm adding a bunch of elements. And then this thing, I'm obsessed with bow ties. Eric made this one.
Wow.
This one's 3D printed and it just slides over the button. This one is carbon fiber when you need a sort of strong but lightweight bow tie. This is a bow tie made of stone.
Wow, beautiful. And your one made of wood is also beautiful.
Multiple pieces of wood,
Okay, show me other stuff.
Okay, this is an actual real pinball field.
Wow. And of course Disneyland.
And so I've got all sorts of different creative projects. At any given time when you're building play and you're building new games, you have a thesis, right? You have a prediction what might be fun, but you really need to do it for real in order to test if it is actually fun. And sometimes you're dead wrong. We really, like to experiment.
Before we call it a day and leave their magic fiefdom totally in awe and inspired, I just couldn't help myself. We went another round of play.
Final round, okay.
One more, there we go. All right.
I'm gonna win this time. Woo!
That's right. Finally, I won a round.
Oh my gosh, Brent Bushnell, thank you so much. He's still gloating over his win in first place. The kid in every adult. Eric Gradman, thank you so much. This place is so exciting. 2 Bit Circus in the Art District of downtown Los Angeles. There is so much more than just arcade magic here. There's imagination and innovation and a whole new face of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
We're so thankful you came. Thanks.
I wish you the greatest success as you explode and go global. We're excited to have you as a really important LA story. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Let's play more.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
All right.